In the heart of Accra, Ghana, where the night markets glowed under dim lanterns and the humid air wrapped itself around the city, there lived a young man named Kojo. He was only 26 but already known among his neighbors as hard-working and ambitious. Kojo worked in a busy bank near Makola Market, and his days were long, filled with numbers, customers, and the endless hustle of urban life. By the time he left the office each night, the streets were alive with the sounds of taxi drivers shouting for passengers, hawkers calling out prices of fried yam and kelaweel, and distant drums from churches echoing in the night. Kojo had one habit that his mother always warned him about: bathing late at night. Ever since his teenage years, after long days of work or school, he preferred to shower just before bed. Kojo, his mother used to say when she was alive, the night is not meant for bathing. Spirits move in the darkness, and cold water at night invites sickness into your bones. He would laugh, dismissing her words as old superstitions from the village. In the city, people lived differently, and Kojo prided himself on being modern and logical. One Friday evening, after an especially exhausting day, Kojo returned to his small apartment in Nima. Sweat clung to his body, and dust from the busy streets coated his skin. He dropped his bag on the wooden chair, switched on his small radio, and listened to the evening news. The apartment was hot and stuffy, but Kojo's mind was on one thing: a cold bath before bed. The water in the bucket was icy, having been stored outside all day. He undressed, poured the first splash on his body, and felt the relief rush through him. Little did he know, that night would not pass like the others. As the water trickled down his skin, Kojo suddenly felt a sharp chill, colder than the water itself. The room grew strangely silent, even the noise from the street vendors faded away. He paused, water dripping from his face, listening. That was when he heard it, a faint whisper. At first, he thought it was the radio, but when he turned it off, the whisper grew louder. It seemed to come from the dark corner of his room where the shadows clung thick like smoke. "Why do you bathe at night, Kojo?" the voice hissed. Kojo froze, his heart pounding. He grabbed a towel, wrapping it around himself, and looked into the corner. Nothing was there. Shaking his head, he muttered, "I must be tired. Too much stress." But deep inside, unease settled like a heavy stone. He forced himself to sleep, though strange dreams haunted him. In one, he saw his late mother standing at the door of his apartment, shaking her head with tears in her eyes. The next morning, Kojo awoke with a heavy chest and a pounding headache. His body ached as though he had wrestled all night. Still, he ignored it. He told himself it was just fatigue from work. He went about his weekend, but each night, the same thing happened. Each time he bathed at night, the whispers returned, and the feeling of cold fingers brushing against his skin grew stronger. By Sunday evening, Kojo was worried. He confided in his childhood friend Kwame, a devout churchgoer. Kwame listened carefully and said, "Kojo, this is not just stress. In our land, the night belongs to powers we cannot see. Bathing invites them closer. You need prayer, and you must stop this habit." But Kojo, stubborn as always, laughed it off. That very night, determined to prove everyone wrong, Kojo again filled his bucket. As the cold water touched his head, a sudden wind blew through the closed room, extinguishing his small lamp. Darkness swallowed him whole. In the blackness, the whisper returned, louder this time, joined by faint laughter. His towel fell from his shaking hands as he struggled to find his lamp. Then, as if hands unseen gripped his chest, Kojo gasped for air, collapsing to the ground. He would have died that night if not for his neighbor, Madame Efua, an elderly woman known in the community for her wisdom and prayers. She heard the crash and Kojo's strangled cries. Breaking down his door, she found him pale and trembling on the floor. With urgency, she began to pray loudly in Twi, calling on the name of God. Slowly, Kojo regained his breath, tears streaming down his face. The next morning, weak and humbled, Kojo listened as Madame Efua spoke. "My son, your mother warned you for a reason. The night is not only darkness but a time when evil spirits roam freely. Bathing at night, especially with cold water, opens your body to them. It is not just superstition, it is wisdom passed down from our ancestors who understood the spiritual world." From that day forward, Kojo never bathed at night again. He realized that what we often dismiss as tradition may carry truths deeper than we understand. He also learned the importance of prayer before every act, no matter how ordinary it seemed. Whenever he shared his story with others, he always ended with the same words. Be careful what you ignore. Some warnings are not just stories, they are shields meant to save your life. And so, in the busy streets of Accra, where life moves fast and people chase the modern world, Kojo's experience became a quiet reminder: the old ways may hold the wisdom that keeps us alive.